So, before we begin, y'all already understand I'm Jimmy with Attainable Dreams. Very happy to be here, very blessed to be here, very grateful to be here. What we had begun last week and are going to continue on with is step 2. Earlier on Monday, we had gone through the definitions of the 5 principles found in the second step, which are open-mindedness, willingness, humility, trust, and faith. Okay? Now, that being said, the second step is we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Last week we went over what some powers greater than ourselves were, and we understood hope a little bit. Does anybody, do you have your phone?
Yes.
Can you do me a favor? Can you get me the definition of hope real quick? Last week we had written down
Definition of hope.
what our hopes were, and we had came to the conclusion that as we work towards getting our hopes, we are going to become new people, right?
Yeah.
And the other realization is that we are going to be okay with the people we are, whether or not those hopes do come true, okay? And that's very humbling and nice to understand.
All right, the definition of hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. A feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen.
Okay?
Or it could be a feeling of trust.
Okay. Now, what is hopeless?
The opposite.
Yeah, it would be the opposite.
The definition of hopeless is a feeling or causing despair about something. A feeling or causing despair about something.
So basically doubting yourself.
Inadequate, incompetent.
So basically doubting yourself. Okay, now, when understanding the second step, we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves. When coming to believe in a power greater than ourselves and working this step, we are going to embody and begin understanding hope, which is a feeling of expectation and a desire for a certain thing to happen, which would be restored to sanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the opposite of sanity is insanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we were to behave in a way that would restore us to insanity, it would be for a result of this hopelessness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an important idea and concept to understand.
Mm-hmm.
That if we're focused on being restored to sanity, we're focusing on harboring a feeling of expectation for a desire, a certain thing to happen, right?
Yeah, like in my drug use, I was saying because I'm doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Now, even more interesting is that we also had hope in active addiction.
Mm-hmm. I had hoped that I could get sober on my own. I had hoped that my marriage was going to work out, even though it wasn't.
Dude, even deeper than that, I sure as shit hoped that there was money in that pocketbook when I stole it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I sure as shit hoped that there was money in that car when I broke the window and the alarm went off and I had to be fucking in and out.
I hope the liquor store is not closed by the time I get there.
Seriously,
That was the
dude.
one.
Right? And then it's funny because as that clock gets closer to 10 p.m., your hope diminishes
Yep.
and you become hopeless. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to drink. Oh my God, what the hell? I'm not believing that this car is going to drive fast enough for me to get the thing to restore me to sanity, which would be alcohol, which would ultimately be insane. Because we do not need alcohol to restore us to sanity. Alcohol is actually contributing to the restoration of insanity.
Yep.
Yep.
Like drinking every day, and you think that it's gonna change something.
Right.
Like you think that it takes away your emotions and masks it, but in reality, it's just making the problems deeper.
Right. So what are some of the hopes, the behaviors that we would display if we hoped the liquor store was going to be open? Think about that. What are some of the behaviors that we would do?
Look on the maps real quick to make sure the
Take
store's
your
open.
time.
Fast!
Oh my God,
Urgency! Urgency, dude!
Where the fuck are my keys?
Where the fuck are my keys? Maybe speeding? Maybe on the road speeding to get there?
Back up.
Your hope is like, if I speed, I'll get there before they close.
Or even like if you know it's gonna be closed, you pull to the nearest gas station and just buy out beer instead. You know?
Yeah.
Like you're already thinking of what you're gonna do next.
Have you ever done this? Let me ask you guys, have you ever done this? Said to yourself, God damn it, I could have gone.
Yep.
Yep.
I could have.
Could have made it.
I could have made it. They probably would have stayed open like 1 minute for me. You know, could have made it.
You ever stolen from a liquor store?
Yes, actually, I worked for it and I stole from them. And they were like, what the fuck?
And when you didn't have money, I can slip that in my bag.
Yep. So what's funny is that when in that hope that the liquor store's open, I love that we're using that as an example. I come to believe that the power that this car has and the speed that it can reach could get me to the liquor store on time, right? Now, if I don't believe that that's the case, I'm going to kind of sit at home and be miserable,
Yep.
or find a way to satisfy that feeling.
Not only that, I'm most likely driving drunk to the liquor store.
Oh, dude, you didn't even, yeah, bro, absolutely, yeah, you didn't even consider that, right?
I had a liquor store right down the corner, stayed open until 11 o'clock. The line was
Walk.
1 block.
I've called them before. You know,
Yeah.
5 minutes till closing, I'm gonna be there in 7.
And in New Jersey, some of the pizzerias used to deliver. I'd get a jug of vodka along with my pizza.
Yeah. Now, ready?
But when
That's
it becomes
ins-
a dependence, it's no joke.
It is no joke. It is no joke, period. For us as individuals.
Not
Right?
a normal person.
Now check this out. For a normal person, that is like, cool. I'll get my pizza, I'll get my wine, whatever. But for us,
Yeah, it's like-
that is a solution to a means.
Life or death.
Life or death, dude.
Even if I wasn't hungry, I'd get a pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the bottle.
Exactly. You would get the pizza just to get the bottle,
Yeah.
right?
Make it look like you're in.
How many times do we have to get another example off of the drinking real quick and onto drugs? How many times do we hang around with people we shouldn't have fucking hung out with just to get drugs?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man.
Bro, you know what I mean? How many places do we go? I shouldn't fucking be here. I have no business being here, but I'm here just because of drugs.
I
I
consider
don't
my
even like
dealer-
this pizza.
I
But I'm getting this
consider my
pizza just
dealer
because of
my
the
best
alcohol.
friend.
What was
I
it?
considered my dealer like my best friend. Like,
Yeah.
It was
Sorry,
like,
Dad.
anytime he's like asked me a favor, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll do it, because he'll throw me more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Slip me extra.
And
I
if
don't
It's like this person, but I'm hanging out with them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a pie.
So what we're identifying here, and what the discussion we're having here, is how our hope has been insane. The things we have been hoping for have been mentally ill.
Yep.
They're insane. Like, we're hoping the liquor store's open. I'm hoping there's money in this wallet.
I dropped
You know?
a Roxy out inside of a Kroger parking lot, and I drove back to that Kroger to look in the parking lot for it.
Yeah.
Searching and fearlessly, I bet, as well.
Yeah.
I was.
You're willing to be searching and fearless for the Percocet you dropped in the Kroger parking lot, but you're
I'm-
unwilling to be searching and fearless when it comes to your own past behavior.
Yep.
Did you find it?
No. I found one under the seat though of my car, a completely different one.
Wow.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean,
In my
dude.
time, I thought that was God, and I was like, that's my higher power. And
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah, it
That
is.
is insane.
That is insane. Another thing that, this is a piece of literature from the literature called Just for Today.
Uh-huh.
They say that there's good and bad feelings, right? And this goes with the hope and hopelessness. In active addiction, the good feelings were bad. In recovery, early recovery specifically, the bad feelings are good. Give you an example. Getting high was bad for me, but it felt great.
Uh-huh.
So I did it every day.
Right.
It was actually really bad for me. Being dope sick is actually the best thing that could possibly be for me because it's getting all the toxins out of my body. It's actually good. As a matter of fact, I thought it was horrible, but it's good. That's what's supposed to happen.
You give me chills just thinking about it.
Right, yeah. So here's the idea, right? We need to combat that and we need to get in the habit of doing things that are good for us even though they may feel bad. That's why they say get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Being vulnerable doesn't feel good, but I have to do it in order to get intimate with my sponsor or my therapist, right? Sitting down and doing step work and confronting these crises in my life sure as shit doesn't feel good mentally. It doesn't feel good in my hand when I'm writing pages upon pages of one question, but it's good for me. It doesn't feel like it, but it is. It's an interesting shift. So now we have to take the shift, that same idea of a shift, into our idea of hope. The things that we found hope in before actually had zero value of hope in them at all. It was negative hope. Actually, hopeless. You're losing hope. On a scale of, we'll call it the hope scale. Here's 100% hope, and here's 0% hope. If we're 50-50 and we're right in the center, right? That means that each behavior is going to either work towards a feeling of something good to happen or work towards a feeling of something bad to happen. This is just specifically with this step pertaining to coming to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
That's StepTwo.
Yes. Now, what we do is going to determine our level of hope, right? Now, there are things that we can do to increase our hope. What do we think are some things we could do? We talked a little bit about this on Monday that could increase
Being sober.
being sober,
Positive
Because-
attitudes.
positive attitude.
I was hopeless when I was on drugs and I tried to take my own life.
Yes.
That's how hopeless I was. I literally tried to take my own life.
How can hopelessness show up in recovery?
Dope sick, just like you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. How about
Relapse.
relapse? Yep. Coming back from a long amount of clean time, maybe. You know what I mean? Somebody may feel hopeless after asking someone to be their sponsor. How many times have you heard somebody say, I asked someone to be their sponsor, and they said, no, dude. And they're just like, their demeanor is hopeless. They don't think to ask someone else. They're just like, that's it.
Finding the
Whatever.
right program can be hopeless. I hear so many times in experience. You know, you go with so many expectations, but you could be hooked up with the wrong program, wrong therapist, and just feel like instead of looking and shopping for the right one, you become hopeless about, I'm going to be able to do this.
Yeah. And now, that idea, the person who continues, right, has come to believe that someone out there can help me. It may not have been that person, but someone will, right?
Right now, I'm hopeless with my sleep pattern, and that's a current problem.
Talk to me about it.
I'm hopeless, like as in I've tried I take 8 different pills at night to sleep, and it doesn't knock me out. Like,
Have you ever looked into holistic remedies?
I've tried everything.
Behavioral. When
I've tried the meditation. I fall asleep with the medicine, but I can't stay asleep. I'm up in 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah, I would research it. Have you ever done your own research?
I've looked up so many different things. I've tried the chamomile tea, unisom, melatonin.
What about like
root.
so I adjusted my behavior when it came to sleep, and that was what fixed my sleeping patterns. I began doing things an hour before when my bed was. I decided to go to bed at a certain time.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
decided
doing
to only use my bed for sleep. Not sit in my bed, not hang out in my bed, not watch TV in my bed, but my bed was specifically to sleep.
And sex.
I didn't even worry about sex, dude. You know what I mean? It was just, that was what my bed was for. And when I began to adjust like my behavior and adjust my relationship with my bed, because you gotta think about this, dude. My relationship with my bed should be when I'm tired, I go to my bed and I sleep.
Yeah.
But what my relationship with my bed was when I want to read my book, I go and I lay on my bed and I read my book. When I want to watch TV, I go to my bed, I put a TV on, I watch movies. When I want to try to go to bed, I go in bed, I put my phone on and I watch phone. So what that means to my body doesn't know the fucking difference. My mind doesn't know the difference. All that says is, okay, when my body's in aligned motion late at night, we're going to get engaged with some artificial light and possibly some serotonin from the likes we get on Facebook.
Being sick for the past week, I spent a lot of time in my bed. Reading, listening to podcasts, doing things other than I should be doing, like certain sets, and just doing what is needed. So when I started feeling better here yesterday, we have 4 bedrooms in the house. And we took one of the bedrooms and turned it into a meditation room, where we put the bed up against the wall. We have a small table there. We have Amazon, Alexa. We can put on meditations. We have a beanie chairs in there. We just relax and read and do more relaxing there as opposed to doing it in the bedroom. And I have a good sleep habit already, but that just makes it easier to try to stick to doing the right things.
Right.
And I love it. I plan on going there after this.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And I think I gotta start with Jimmy and say you really hit on the hammer, especially I'm saying older and relaxing is I'm looking at my pattern and post definitely when I went to Mount Sinai because I'm a TV buff. I see the TV on all the time. So that was almost a hesitation of me going to recovery. I was like, damn, I'm not going to be with TV. But I learned that because I had to go to classes all day, I got up at 7, and when I got back to my room, it was no television. And initially, I didn't have Wi-Fi where I could watch a movie. I would have never thought that I would have stayed asleep without a TV. So now what you're saying is, you're right. I don't need to be in my bed unless I'm going to bed, because if I look at TV in bed, I'm in there all day, and when it's time for me to go to sleep, I can't sleep, and that's because I've been there all day with the TV. So you're saying that I need to revise that and make sure that's when I go to my bed, is when I'm going to sleep.
That's the relationship with your bed, is to sleep, not to chill.
Right.
The couch is to chill. The living room is to chill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The kitchen is to eat. You don't eat in the bathroom.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Comfortable in the bed.
It is. And you know, and that is a bad feeling. It's telling you it's good. You're being told this is good. You're laying down, you're comfortable, this is good, just hang out here. When in fact, it's killing you. There are, if you're doing too much of it, right? If you're doing too much of it, it's very healthy to chill and relax, you know. But if it's like excessive, then that's not okay, right?
There was a roommate I had in housing when I was here in the sober living, and he came in. He didn't last very long, but he just slept on the couch and pretty much cleaned the common area, which made us, if we wanted to have any kind of relaxing time, we had to do it only in the bedroom, because all of a sudden he didn't spend any time in his bedroom. He always was on the couch, sleeping, eating, doing everything. So it kind of took us away from that and made us go back to our rooms.
Yes.
And that was uncomfortable. It was hard to do because we felt kind of isolated and trapped. Wow.
Now,
That's not healthy.
check this out, right? Now everyone's coming to these realizations about their relationship with like the bed and sleeping patterns and schedules and stuff, and understanding how that's affected, right? How do you find similarities between that and addiction? Why are you smiling?
Because you're putting your mind and body in that situation. That it's a pattern. It's a
You're set. Go on,
a
I'm sorry.
habit. It's just a routine.
Just without drugs.
It's a pattern. We always go to our bed. We always use drugs. It's a part of our life.
Yeah, right.
So we're always going to go and watch a podcast or listen to a podcast or read a book or something in bed.
Even
Habit.
even
It's habit.
off of that, right? And to go more onto what you're saying, it's almost like the behaviors are still insane. The only thing we did was remove the drug. Just like you haven't behaviorally changed anything about your sleep pattern. You actually have not come to believe that behavioral changes could restore your sleep pattern. You are fully reliant on the power of medication that could restore your sleep pattern. And you may be minimizing the behavioral changes of like going to bed when you're going to bed and like focusing on sleeping, right? And here's the thing, you may experience hopelessness.
He's
Because
still depending on something.
the first three,
to
yeah,
make him go to sleep.
right? The first 3 days you may not sleep still, and you may say, fuck this. This is fucking stupid. A lot of people who tried to get clean on their own may have reacted like that on the third day. Fuck this, I'm getting high. Fuck this. This is stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this, dude. Hopeless. They lose hope. Their hope goes from here to here. They lose it. Even a person with one hope has hope. They have it. Even if they have one little bit of it. Now, how do you see the behavioral idea of sleeping in relation to recovery?
If I change my behaviors in recovery, do the right things, go to meetings, get a sponsor, do all the things that people that have long-term sobriety suggest, then I will be in a better position to have sobriety.
Handle life on life's terms,
Yeah.
react to my feelings and emotions in a more
Except
healthier
that my
manner.
life became unmanageable.
Right, and accept that it can get as unmanageable again if I don't accept and admit my powerlessness over drugs.
Yep.
Now, imagine someone who, now, please be open-minded. Imagine somebody who takes Suboxone to get off of heroin, but doesn't work a program.
Right.
And they say to themselves, I keep on relapsing, dude. I've taken Suboxone, I've taken Vivitrol, I've taken this, I've taken that, and nothing works. That's the same exact thing that I would hear someone say. I'd have the same reaction to someone who says that about their sleeping patterns.
Yeah.
I take all these medications.
You can't depend on it.
You can't depend on it. What I maintain that you can depend on healthy behavior to make those changes that you want.
But the thing is, I don't think it's the behavior because I have no trouble falling asleep. It's just staying asleep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a sleep.
Drugs, though?
I'm not a sleep expert. But I sure as shit am. I consider myself an expert on addiction and recovery, and I would say that someone who takes Suboxone and does the behavioral things of going to 90 meetings in 90 days, getting a sponsor, working their steps, and accepting all that stuff will have a better chance of long-term recovery than someone who doesn't. The same as someone who takes medication to go to sleep and does all these behavioral adjustments together will work out.
I feel like I need to exercise more.
Exercise is actually scientifically evidence-based things to help decrease depression and anxiety. If you were to run or do some sort of physical activity before or after my lectures, you would attain and retain that information further down the line better by like 30% or some shit like that.
Just don't exercise close to bed because it actually
Yeah.
can inhibit
Right.
falling asleep.
Yeah.
And it may not be a bad idea. Like I was taking a lot of medications to actually fall asleep and stay asleep as well. And I finally was falling asleep and being so dead asleep that I had to back off things. I just started over. And maybe it's a good idea to kind of look at those 8 medications or however many you're taking to fall asleep and say, you know what, maybe I just need to start with one and add behaviors onto it and then see where you go from there. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm just doing trazodone and melatonin and just doing good habits, and I get a great night's sleep. And I
Well,
love
only 2 of them's for sleep. The rest is for anxiety.
which can help with sleep for
Yeah.
sure.
Back,
Maybe look at those other 2 and add some
And
behaviors.
I feel
to
like
it.
I need to increase my exercise level to decrease my anxiety.
And
Also, I have ADHD, so my mind's racing a million miles a minute.
and it's like an internal thing too. I think that what exercise and diet does is it helps you improve the things that'll like increase your chances, right? Just think about this, right? If you're eating like carbohydrates and sugar and like fast food all the time, that has an effect on your brain and your neuroplasticity, right? And your ability to learn, attain information, all that stuff. The same with exercise. It's a tremendous stress hormone. The ability to exercise and force yourself into stress will help you when you are stressed out in life. That will trigger your ability to go through life on life's terms. Exercise, heat like saunas increase your stress hormone in your body, and it causes you to like your body be used to that. So when you are in more stressful situations, you're able to face it and confront it instead of run from it. Science, dude, that's like literal stuff. And that's all diet and exercise related, right? Just like eating healthy and going for a run. But we want to look for these other examples. Okay, now back to reel it back in real quick. Where are we? Okay. To reel it back in real quick. Now, how do we switch our brain to know good hope from bad hope and like good hopelessness from bad hopelessness? How do we do that? That's the question.
It's hard because we had a class the other day. It said we had like 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts every single day.
Yep.
And then 80% of those thoughts are negative.
Okay.
95% are the same thoughts from the day before.
But you can retrain your brain.
Yeah.
So you're saying that 5% of my thoughts are hopeful.
Yeah.
That is more than 0. Let's focus on those 5 thoughts, right? What are those 5 thoughts? Anybody can shout them out.
My wife will trust me.
Perfect. What else?
Thank you.
I will be sober today.
I will be sober today. I am thankful today.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Hope. I hope to make it to a meeting today. I hope to stay clean today. I hope that I'm not going to be angered today. I hope that I don't yell at anyone today. I hope that, I don't know, dude. I hope I go for a run today, maybe. I hope I get some good sleep, right?
Yeah.
How do we make that hope become a reality? And that's 5%, right? We're focusing on 5%. of all of our thoughts that we're
Well,
trying to make become a
It's
reality.
5% from the day before and 20% are positive.
So wait, 20?
20%. Yeah, because 80% are negative. 5% are from the day are new thoughts, and 95% are from the day before.
Okay. So even better, 20% hopeful thinking, right? This could work. This might work. Where can we get this hope from? Because the hopelessness, we know where we can get this from. Where do we get this? Hopelessness.
Using drugs.
Using drugs, being a dick, being closed-minded, lying, cheating, stealing,
Being right instead of playing.
right? Not trusting people, not behaving in faith, right? Not accepting, not admitting, so on and so forth. These are examples of hopeless behavior. So what are examples of behavior that would instill a feeling of hope?
Coming to my PhD.
100%.
Actually doing it. Executing it.
Coming to PHP, let's talk about that. That's a specific example, okay? You believe that coming to PHP will restore you to sanity.
Yep.
So you show up, you sit in the fucking chair, you hold your pen and your paper and you write down and you listen and you do this, right? Because you hope that this will restore you to sanity. If you did not hope or believe that this would restore you to sanity, you would not be here.
That's right.
You wouldn't. Why the fuck would you be here, dude? Now, very interesting. Why would you be here? Well, I got a place to live. Southeast Addiction Treatment Center runs my insurance and I get to live underneath their roof. Maybe it's a case of, well, you know, I'll be able to go through this, and when I get out, I'll be able to use, and I'll get really high.
Or my wife won't leave me if I do this program.
Yeah,
or
right.
my job won't fire me.
Right.
Or I won't go to jail.
Now, what is the issue with that hope?
Once you complete your task, you might relapse.
Yeah, it's false hope.
It's
in a way.
How?
because you're just doing it to avoid jail, or you're doing it to avoid, like, you're relying on someone beside yourself.
You're like hoping for you're hoping for almost insanity.
Yeah.
You're not changing your behavior, you're just doing an action to try to accomplish something that is hopeless. Or if that is the goal, using that as your reasoning.
Like a short-term gain almost.
Yeah.
Just to get past that
Just-
check mark.
Yeah. Now why is that an issue?
It's cheating yourself in the system.
You're basically a liability to yourself.
Easily, yeah.
Easily. 100%. I'm like, dude, I'm just here so I have a place to live, right?
I'm not homeless.
And how does that affect other people? How do you think my hopelessness in this program, but I'm still here, affects other people? Maybe sitting here like, it's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? And other people feed off that, right? And then their recovery is affected negatively. Instead of someone who has hope and believes it. You ever seen someone, when you go to a meeting, who believes in recovery, the passion they have? You're like, look at this guy, look at this lady.
Just going to a meeting and hearing other people's stories gives me hope.
That is it. Good. That's another thing. When I say, well, where can we get this hope from? A meeting.
From others.
What is it?
From others.
Others.
Going to a meeting and hearing other people's story makes me feel sane sometimes.
Bro, please, yeah. When I hear someone share some of that crazy shit that I've done, it makes me not feel so alone, right?
How about family?
Family.
ENA has a 24/7 meeting that they do out of New York.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, I checked it out like last night again, and there's some good speakers on there talking about
seen a guy-
recovery from the beginning. It's
He
it's
had
amazing to hear the
53
stories.
years. He was sober since 1967.
Wow.
And he said the best shit I've ever heard. I couldn't even remember it right now, but at
Wow.
the time I just remember a light bulb went off in my head.
So now what else? Where else can we find this hope?
I mean, just the story here, Kudlow, who's he's the White House economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, says he tells an emotional story. I guess yesterday at the White House event, I was a hopeless abuser of alcohol and drugs. He celebrated 25 years of being sober in July, and he's like, I was going nowhere. I was unemployable, but now I'm in this position. I've been doing the best thing in my life.
Economic policy.
Yeah.
For the country.
He, a White House economic advisor.
And that literally
25
began
years.
with hoping to get one day without alcohol.
Yep.
Right.
Everyone with long-term sobriety started somewhere.
Yeah. And you know what's even crazier? Is that guy spent his entire alcoholism thinking he could control alcohol.
Now he controls the world.
So now, ready? This is just a couple examples of what? And the answer is in the second step.
Hope.
Nope. The answer is in the second step.
Self-reflection,
Nope. In the
Ourselves.
second step.
power.
Power.
Yes. Greater than ourselves.
Greater than ourselves.
These are powers greater than ourselves. Just 3 examples that you're relying on to restore you to sanity, to give you hope. Right? Meetings, dude. You go to a meeting with the hope to hear something that's going to make me want to stay clean. That's going to have me come to believe in this shit. So we go to the meeting, right? Other people, therapists, sponsors, we come to believe that they know what they're talking about. These powers greater than ourselves, whatever they are, they know what they're talking about. And I come to believe that they know how to restore people to sanity. Some other things, medication. Medication can help restore people to sanity. Behavior.
Yes.
Modification.
Habits.
What is it?
Behavior modification.
Yeah, absolutely.
Faith.
Faith. You know why I like faith? The reason I like faith is because faith comes from hope. Like, I hope this works.
Yes.
If I didn't hope there was money in the wallet, I wouldn't have stole it. And then because I hoped there was money in the wallet, I went and stole the wallet. Because I hope that this Prozac works, I wake up and take it every morning. Right? Because I hope that Suboxone is going to decrease my desire to use, I take 2 every day. Or whatever the case may be, right? Because I hope going to this meeting will decrease my desire to use, I go and I share my desire to use. Thus, hopefully, decreasing my desire. Has anybody ever shared a burning desire
Yeah.
at a meeting? Do you feel it alleviates your desire to use?
Yes.
Yes, because then the meeting comes almost centered around me. And like, that makes me feel good in a way.
Good.
Like if I have, like, and when they ask at the beginning, what's a burning desire? And everyone's like, a desire to drink, use, kill somebody, la la la. And I share that burning desire, and then the next thing you know, everyone's talking to me like, giving me that, not saying I'm attention seeking, but it almost makes me feel normal. Like, they give me that advice and that hope.
And they
Yeah.
tell you, like, yo, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
What's going on, man? You know what I mean? And you talk to someone, and you talk to them, and you get, and if you didn't get hope from the meeting, there's another opportunity for you to speak with someone to get hope.
Right.
But I can go to, here's the thing though, right? I can go to a meeting and share a burning desire and then walk right out. I could go to a meeting, share a burning desire, and then just like turn people away. No, I'm good. Stay the fuck away from me. You know what I mean? And that's where like, I don't know what that is. I'd have to think about that for a little bit. But that would be like going and like hoping that this share works and then like being closed-minded towards the help that I would be getting. It's like, it's literally working a first step and admitting I have a desire to use, but not working a second step in believing that anything you could say to me could possibly help. The second step would be like listening to these people and hoping that like the suggestions that they give me could help me. Right? Okay, now we are coming to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. It could, not guaranteed to, right? Not promise that we're going to be restored to sanity. It just could. There's certain things that we could do to make this 20 move to 21, move to 22, move to 23. And there's also things that we could do for this 20 to go to 19, to go to 18, to go to 17. I can tell you this, that when I hang out with my normal friends, they drink alcohol and they may go up, right? When I drink, I go down. For me to compare myself to them would be insane. I am not them, right? So I need to humbly accept my addiction as my reality and come to believe that as long as I go out with my friends and I don't drink, then I will be okay. But if I do drink, I will literally be insane.
And you only find that out really when you work the program. Because if you did it on your own, you would definitely think, why did not drunk? But coming here, being educated and coming to the meetings, and a lot of times when you're talking in class, if you listen to yourself, it comes back to you. So this definitely helps when you leave here, you take it with you.
What's an example of you working a second step in your life already? Is there an example of you having had worked a second step in your life already?
I started going to church.
Okay, talk about that a little bit. What was that like? How does that pertain to this?
Basically, I overdosed and I was on a ventilator for 3 days, and I like in that moment, I found my higher power because I saw God and I saw Jesus, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but I really did. Like when I was out there and God offered me a second chance at life, and I'm off the ventilator and I had no brain damage or anything from my overdose, even though I literally died. Like I was unresponsive for I don't know how many minutes, I don't know how long, but I was black and blue before the paramedics got there, and I was out cold. And in that time, I found my higher power. Like spiritually, I hated God before that. Like I had took two of my best friends, took my uncle, like took a bunch of stuff from me, and I was just like, I hated God. But in that second chance He gave me at life, I don't know, now I've just been praying every day, and I've been started even going to church.
So, how does that describe that in breaking this down?
Well, I believe that if I find my faith and I find my higher power, then I can be restored to sanity. Like, literally, He gave me a second chance. Like, that doesn't happen for everyone, you know? Like, a lot of people die and they don't get that second chance.
Right.
And in my experience, I just really wanted to find my faith now, because I could have been dead. I could be dead right now, you know, but instead I'm sitting in this room with no brain damage, no long-term effects, no, like, by the grace of God, in my opinion. And I don't know, it just made me really, it's like that aha moment, you know, that speak of, like the light bulb goes off in your head and you're just like, this is what you need to do with your life. And it really just changed my entire opinion on living. I felt like I needed drugs and alcohol before just to get by one day.
Yes.
And instead now I don't feel that way. And It's crazy.
So check this out, right? You can apply that same idea similarly to your recovery. Everyone has an example of a positive experience of hope. Okay? Like for me, college was my thing. I believe that these teachers are going to teach me something, and I'm going to pass, my behavior is going to get me to pass the course to get the degree. The same thing for me to do by going to college and paying all this fucking money is to get my degree. It would be insane for me to drink and let my addiction consume me and not get my degree, right? Similarly to a high school diploma or whatever the case may be. Now, because I relied on my professors, I relied on my textbooks, I relied on my library, right? These are things that are powers greater than myself that I relied on to assist me in getting my degree. There are things that we as addicts are going to have to rely upon for us to get a year clean, 2 years clean, to get a sponsor, right? To get a sponsor, you need to go to a meeting. You first have to have the hope that if I go to this meeting, I may be able to find a sponsor. If you don't believe you're going to be able to find a sponsor at a meeting and you'll be able to find someone somewhere else, you're mistaken. And that is a hopeless situation. To have hope in looking for a sponsor, you may say to yourself, well, I heard I got one of those sponsors at a meeting. And then you may go to the meeting and you may go up to someone and say, hey, will you be my sponsor? And they may say yes, they may say no. And then if they say no, I continue to ask for a sponsor, hoping and knowing that I need this, I'm trusting that the sponsor is going to help me. The sponsor is going to restore me to sanity. This power greater than myself that everyone says. If nobody believed in Prozac, they wouldn't be taking Prozac. If nobody believed in a sponsor, they wouldn't be fucking suggesting it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break, but what we're going to do when we come back is we're going to understand how to identify insanity. We talked a little bit about that and how to identify the hopelessness, right? And even how to put ourselves in a position of hope, which is literally like doing good things for ourselves. Like if there's something that we want that's good for us, we get up and do it. Like I know that health is good for me. I know that not smoking cigarettes is good for me. So I do everything I can to not smoke cigarettes. We know, we have identified that drug use is an issue of ours. So we're going to do the most we can to not use drugs. Now, in order to begin that, we have talked about hope. Next, we're going to identify insanity, which would be all the way down here on the 0. This is fucked, right? This is the crazy things we may do. So as a disclaimer, I want to say that in this next part of the group, you may feel overwhelmed with the amount of insanity you may have. You may be in partial denial of the reality and the severity of your insanity. And it's important that we confront that feeling, because if we don't, we will never confront that feeling. And we will continuously never look at the severity of our insanity, thinking we have it under control, behaving in an insane manner. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's take a break and then we will come back.
Oh, yeah. That was a good